chanting Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 3, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya offers prasadam, text 107. Okay, cool. Eka Krishna Name Kare Sava Papakshaya, Nava-vidya Bhakti Puna Namahaita Hoya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna once, a person is relieved from all the reactions of a sinful life. One can complete the 9 processes of devotional service simply by chanting the holy name. Purport. The 9 types of devotional service are mentioned in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 7.5, 23 and 24. Śravaṇaṁ viṣṇoḥ smaraṇaṁ pāda-sevanam arcanaṁ vandanaṁ dāsyaṁ sakhyam ātma-nivedanam iti puṁsārpitā viṣṇoḥ bhaktiś nava-lakṣaṇā kriyeta bhagavaty addhā manye dhītam uttamam. The process of devotional service entails hearing, chanting, and remembering the holy name, form, pastimes, qualities, and entourage of the Lord. Offering service according to the time, place, and performer. Worshipping the deity, offering prayers, always considering oneself the eternal servant of Kṛṣṇa. Making friends with him, and dedicating everything unto him. These 9 items of devotional service, when directly offered to Kṛṣṇa, constitute the highest attainment of life. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. As for being freed from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of Kṛṣṇa only once, one must chant the holy name without committing any offenses. Then chanting one name is sufficient to rescue a living being from all sinful reactions. Such a person who chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly is very important and worshipful. Indeed, the 9 devotional processes, beginning with śravaṇaṁ and kīrtanaṁ, can all be attained at once if one simply chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami states in his book Bhakti Sandarbha, Yadapi anya bhakti kalo kartavya tada kīrtanatya bhakti samyogineva. Out of the 9 processes of devotional service, kirtan is very important. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore instructs that the other processes such as arcana, vandana, dāsyaṁ, and sakhyam should be executed, but they must be preceded and followed by kirtan, the chanting of the holy name. We have therefore introduced this system in all of our centers. Archana, arati, bhoga offering, deity dressing, and decoration are all preceded and followed by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Bhaktivedanta Jnana-shalakaya Chakshamitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swabadantikam Vanchakapaturubhischa Kripa Sindhuvyavacha Patitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishyamyo Namo Nama Yata Yasmin Duskarum Sukarum Bhave Vishrite Viryatisya Shri Chaitanya Nandanamitam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So just by chanting once, one is relieved from all sinful reactions. Namno hi yavati shakti papani harine hare tavakatam nashaknoti patakam pataki naraha. Just by chanting the holy name of Lord Hari once, one can counteract or get rid of more sinful reactions one can commit in a lifetime. So we can see here that the chanting of the holy name is very important to us. We are the Hare Krishna movement. But here it's even more exemplified that just by chanting one can complete all the 9 items of devotional service. And everything's in the holy name. We see in Bhaktivedanta Thakur's bhajan, Anurudaya Kirtan. Kṛṣṇa nama sudha koryapan, jaro bhaktagi vinodapran, nama bina kichu nahi ko aro, choda bhuvana maje. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Kṛṣṇa and thus satisfy the soul of Bhaktivedanta. There is nothing but the holy name within all the 14 worlds. So how does these 9 items are all contained in chanting the holy name? So we're going to go through them. So we'll start with hearing. So obviously when you chant, you need to hear yourself chanting and you hear someone else chanting. But also we need to hear the glories of chanting the holy name. You know, why should we chant Hare Krishna? What's in it for me? Usually we think that. And I remember particularly, I had no faith in Harinama. You may know me doing lots of Harinama. I got the name also. But I didn't like Harinama at all. I remember when I was like 10 years old, I was in the city. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. So I went to the city with my friends and I saw the Harinama party. And the first thing I thought, these guys are completely useless. They don't help anyone. You know, they're just some crazy sex cult that smoke ganja. They're just white people trying to be Hindu. That's what I thought they were. They don't have, look, they can't even play the drum, as if I knew how to, you know. So that's the way I was thinking. And yeah, Krishna has a sense of humor. Obviously, you know, you can say like 10 years later, what happened? But what happened before that was that my father became a devotee, like 6 years before I got into it. And he joined, like, my parents were sort of arguing, so they kind of separated for a bit. So that's when my dad met the devotees. And he was like staying in temple and everything. So then when he came back, he was like, his mood was like, I'm going to give Krishna consciousness to my family. And that was, you know, now it's all worked out. And I remember, like, when he came back as a devotee, I was thinking, no, you know, Hare Krishna, okay, fine, just don't try and push me into this, you know. And he would always drive me around and he would tell me philosophy. And I was thinking it was his knowledge, but I didn't know it was Hare Krishna. And he'll talk about his experiences as a devotee and living in temples. And then he told me about Harinama. It's like the idea of going out and singing in the street was that you give like the name of God to other people. I was thinking, oh, that's nice, that's cool. And then he told me, then sometimes I used to go too. And like in my mind, I was thinking, no, I know you like religion, but please, like, do you have to like go out and, you know, be there as, you know, religion is good, you know, it's spiritual, yes, but going out and sing, no, why would you do such a thing? So anyway, fast forward. Eventually, you know, I got kicked by Maya and I read The Science of Self-Realization, and 6 months later I moved into the ashram. But, you know, I still didn't want to do Harinama. I like kirtan. Like, I remember the first time I came to the temple, so I was just full of depression. And, you know, my father and my mother was into it because she was like a pious into it, but she wasn't like fully into it, principles and stuff. And I came into the temple, and the first thing that shocked me was like seeing all these Aussies dressed up in dhotis and everything, you know. So, okay, this is real stuff. And the altar was closed, and then it opened up. And I didn't see the deities. What I saw was the pujari, and it was a lady, because I was used to Hindu temples, you don't have ladies on the altars. And it was like an Asian lady. I was like, oh, like this, okay, this is all right, you know. And then another thing that was far out was the way that she offered the lamp. Like I'm used to going to like South Indian style temples, Hindu temples. So usually it's just like a straight handle, like ding 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 ding, like it's hardcore. And so yes, it's pretty intense. This the South Indian style temples. So to see a lady, an Asian lady, and then the way they offer like artistically, it like looked like the ghee wicks were about to fall off, but it didn't. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And then they started chanting. And whatever depression I had in my heart just disappeared. I was thinking, oh, it's going to be hard to work through this. But then just from the first mantra, just gone. So what's going on here? This is amazing. And my dad was taking part in the kirtan. So me and my brother, our experience with our dad was just like, he was a serious guy, didn't smile, didn't laugh, nothing. Then he's running up and down the temple, smiling with his hands up, and I'm like, talk to Mom, I go, who is this person? So yeah, eventually what happened was that this was like the Sunday feast program. So there was a class by Prahladananda Swami, then there was like Prasadam, and it was time for Gora Arati. And then that's when the brahmacharis came out, and they were like rah brahmacharis. Like when they do kirtan, they rock it, And I was just watching, and I was like so fascinated by the beats, and it was so lively. And I wanted to dance, but I didn't want to. And then this one brahmachari saw me, and he just pulled me in. I just went crazy. And I really like kirtan since then. And but they went out on Harinama, and these brahmacharis in the temple, they'll say, yeah, you should come out too. I was like, nah, it's like, inside is good. I don't think it's for me, I can't do it. It's like, come on, you can do it. Eventually, by peer pressure, they made me do it. And I was thinking like, okay, let me try it. And then I was like, wow, this is even better than in the temple, I don't know why this is so much more better. This is more crazy. This is exactly what I've been looking for. I've always been looking for the best party ever. And this was the one. It was so much fun doing Harinama Sankirtan and when I first got into it, I was thinking, oh, okay, this is what devotees do because they can't go to nightclubs anymore. So I was like, yeah, this is the party. We can go out, we dance with other people, get it, it's like super so. It's like, it's that best party I've always been looking for because again, it's like open to all. Doesn't matter your age, your social status. You can be a homeless guy in the street. It doesn't matter your race. You don't have to come with some image. If you're in a certain genre, then you need like a certain dress and a way of speaking. It doesn't matter, If you're into hip hop, you can get into it. If you're into rock and roll, you can get into it. You're into metal, get into it. It didn't matter. Everyone could get into it. And even like species, you see dogs sometimes get into it and stuff like that. And the party would peak right away, With most parties you would go to, you have to wait you have to drink something, be tipsy. Then after 3 hours, it's like half an hour good, and then you have a hangover later, We're staying in Soho, so we have to walk to Mangalati. So you just see the leftovers from the night before, There's vomit on the ground, and there's people struggling around, and they go, oh wow, there's monks, wow, And then you're like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You don't want to talk to them, So you don't have a hangover. And also, if there's these nightclubs, people just dance in their own circles. But in the temple or in a Harinam, everyone dances together, and you can pull more people in all together. It's so nice, this Harinam. And you don't have to wait. Krishna. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai. So you don't have to wait till nighttime or the weekend. You can do it 4:30 in the morning on a Monday. It's fine. You start singing and dancing. And you don't need any intoxication whatsoever. And you probably get more intoxicated by doing kirtan and Harinam. So, but the more I read, especially Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the more I understood, wait a minute, this is not just because we can't go to nightclubs. This is the philosophy, singing and dancing like crazy. you know. And so chanting is like a fire, and the fuel is hearing about the glories of Kṛṣṇa and chanting his holy name. You know, when I read Bhagavatam, I get the same feeling as if I'm on Harinama. I don't know why, but I do. And sometimes when I read too much, then I get a little bit unbearable for devotees. So it's like, come on, let's go on Harinama. Nitai is experienced. Sometimes, calm down, calm down. And it happened one time, like I remember like the craze of Kirtan Melas just started in like 2010, 2011. Everyone was having like a 12-hour Kirtan. And it was good, but then it sort of became part of the schedule, you know? And you know, people would just come for like the last 2 hours when like this, you know, the superstar Kirtaniya was there. And it was like, okay, you know, it sort of wasn't really, it didn't pick up, I felt like. So I was like, why don't we do 12-hour Harinam, like on the street, like running around. So we did it in Melbourne, Australia. It was like from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And in the beginning it was a bit scary because it's like this massive task. How are we gonna do it, you know? Like, we just started and already feel tired. And the mind is there, like in the first 2 hours, just rebelling against you, and you're like, no. And then it starts to like sort of, you know, be a bit quiet down after the 3rd hour. By the 5th hour, the mind just starts to give up, you know. You know, okay, fine, do it. Keep chanting, I don't care, I'm not trying to stop you. But then by like the 7th hour, we went to this, like you have South Bank here. So we have a South Bank in Melbourne, and there is like this casino complex, entertainment complex. And we will chant across that promenade there. And there's all these restaurants there, and we're getting people in the restaurant like really fired up in the dancing. Then one security guard comes up to me and goes, yeah, mate, all right, not allowed to do this here, getting out of here, you know. And I was just thinking, like, I've gone too long to stop now. So I just kept chanting. And then he got like annoyed, and he's like, okay, passive aggressive, right? So he goes away, and he comes back with like 40, you know, huge security guards, you know, and there's like 30 devotees, there's like ladies and kids, and they all come, and they just start like, you know, pushing us, you know, trying to get us away, you know. And we just chanted even louder and louder, you know, and someone even started punching us in the ribs and stuff, like chanting louder and louder, you know. I was telling the devotees, don't stop chanting, just keep going, you know. So how we were empowered to take like the hits, and then eventually there's a point where they cannot like touch anyone, you know, it's like out of their jurisdiction. So then the kirtan erupted even more, and then more people were watching this security bullying us, so they decided to join in too, go crazy. So by like the 9th hour, you don't care about anything in the world, you just care about that next mantra, you know, you don't care. And then eventually like 10th hour, the mantra just has a life of its own, it does what it wants, you know, you're out of it now, you know, you're just watching Kṛṣṇa do his magic. By the 12th hour, you don't even know what time it is. We actually went longer, we went for like 13 hours. And like, we would try and like go to different areas of the CBD. So we jump on trams and like keep the kirtan going in the tram. And then at the end, when we were coming to like the finish point, like we have a restaurant in the city, so we're gonna finish there. So we jumped off the tram, and we were just going so crazy. People were just looking, what's happened? What is going on? You guys are just like, look, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And yeah, so that was a good thing to do. I can recommend it. It was a lot of fun, chanting and dancing and not caring about the material world. So that's hearing. So the next part is chanting, the next item. So obviously it's there, and the Bhagavatam is also confirming this. Vyakta kara bhagavate kara bhara Kali Yugadama nama Sankirtan sara. It said that the Bhagavatam is revealing again and again that the essence of Dharma in Kali Yuga is Nam Sankirtan. Pretty much from beginning to end, it's all about the glorification of the Yuga Dharma of Harinam Sankirtan. The next item is remembering the Lord. So from any of Krishna's names that we can think of, it invokes remembrance of his guna, lila, and rupa. So for example, like Govinda. Straight away you remember that this name was given to Kṛṣṇa by Surabi. After Indra tried to kill everyone in Vrindavan and was defeated by Kṛṣṇa, he felt like, okay, I'm in trouble now, so how do I go and beg forgiveness? So he went to go get the Surabi cow from the heavenly planets. And there, Indra was trying to beg forgiveness, and Surabi said to Kṛṣṇa that you are our Indra. And they did a whole coronation, bathing him in milk, and Indra helped with our avatar, with the chant. And yes, Kṛṣṇa was considered Go, like Go Indra, like Govinda, like this. So then we start remembering Govardhan Leela, that Kṛṣṇa saved everyone from Indra's wrath. Everyone had shelter under Govardhan hill, and Kṛṣṇa fulfilled the desire of all the rich basis, because they couldn't spend all day and all night with Kṛṣṇa. At different times of the day, only certain devotees in a certain rasa could spend time with Kṛṣṇa. Like in the morning, it would be like Mother Yashoda. If during the day, it would be the cowherd boys. In the night, it would be the gopis of Vrindavan. So they couldn't really spend non-stop association with Kṛṣṇa, and he fulfilled all that he fulfilled all their desires, and at the same time saved them from Indra's wrath. So in the Kṛṣṇa book, I'm sure you've all been in Madhava's kirtan, and he says, chant from the heart, with your heart. A little louder with your heart. So that's not his, it's actually from Prabhupada. So if you look in the last 2 sentences of chapter 25 of Kṛṣṇa book, it says this, after they were saved. After this incident, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, surrounded by his dear devotees and the animals, returned to his home. As usual, the gopis began to chant the glorious pastimes of Lord Kṛṣṇa with great feeling, for they were chanting from the heart. There you go. So we're following the resonance of Vrindavan when you chant from the heart. The next item is offering service. So, addhā Shri Kṛṣṇa namadi nama vekarana munjire sevamukhi jivado swayameva sparatiyada. That our senses are blunt. They can't perceive spirit. They can't understand Krishna's holy name, pastimes, qualities. And so the conditioned soul gets awakened by rendering service with the tongue. So when we chant, we're serving with the tongue. And in this way, Krishna reveals himself to us. Swayam eva sparatiyada. So yes, service with the tongue, chanting and taking prasadam. My favorite services. Chanting, dancing, and feasting. I don't know about you, but that's mine. So the next item is worshipping the deity. And obviously, Jiva Goswami has revealed that, we have a lot of deity worship, but it needs to be preceded and followed by the chanting of the holy name. But I've seen another style of deity worship, the worship of the nama-rupa. So every year in Australia, we do what's called schoolies. So schoolies are the kids who finish high school for the year, and they go to this surfing town. It's called Surfers' Paradise. Devotees call it suffering parasites. And so it's all hotels, there's beaches, and it's a party place. So something like 30,000 kids, they all go there to try and enjoy. They finish school and they just want to enjoy it. They're out of the system, and they have stages on the beaches for them, and it's all crazy actually. Many of these kids, they're just there to take alcohol, drugs, engage in illicit sex, and sometimes they get into fights and stuff. Many kids have to get their stomach pumped out, because of alcohol poisoning. Many people drug overdose. There's many hotels, so many fall off the balcony also. Fights are going on. So us brahmacharis go there. We go there to chant the holy name. And even as a non-devotee, I remember finishing school and some friends were saying, let's go to schoolies. And I was thinking, no way, this is trashy ass. So a devotee said, we should do it. And I go, okay, let's give it a go. So once we started, it was in 2015, and we started chanting, and these kids just come running like crazy. They just come running, start dancing like crazy, like this. So usually if you do Harinama, there's people who join in, but they join in for like 2 or 3 minutes max. Then they go away. These kids didn't go away. They just stayed, and more kids kept coming like this. And it was just like, because they have so much energy, you know? They just ask for any enjoyment. Doesn't matter whether it's religious or not. Let's get into it. And because they have so much energy, you can't slow down the beat. You know, sometimes you would slow down, you know, after playing fast for a few minutes. But no, you know, they just want that energy. So you have to keep it double time the whole time. You know, it's really intense. We do it for 8 nights straight, for like 4 hours every night. So it just takes the whole day we just sleep, just to recover for the next day, you know. And every day everyone loses their voice, you know. It's like whoever, I can't sing, voice is gone. Okay, next person, Nitai sing. Okay, he lost his voice, someone else, you know. And somehow the voice still keeps going. I don't know how. And it's a lot of fun. And the kids are really sweet. They don't like give you a hard time. And we started developing it, so we started having like this big mantra sign, you know, with the mantra on it. And the kids, they always just want to like carry the sign, you know. Now, can I hold the sign? Yeah, sure, you know, and they hold the sign. Hey, Cheryl, take a photo. So this is deity worship, you know, and they're carrying the Lord, the Namarupa, yeah, like this, you know. They're carrying it like a palanquin. Sometimes like they realize that that's what we're singing, and that's what's like making the vibe. So then like they realize, oh, they're the lyrics, you know, like this, you know, they're the lyrics. And then we go, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. And then they go crazy, like this. So as you're chanting each mantra, they're like bowing down at the same time. Hare Kṛṣṇa, like this. And then I saw one kid, this was the funniest thing. He had like chips in his hand. So then he goes up to the Maha Mantra sign, goes like this. And then like, so he's doing deity worship, you know. And also Prabhupada at the installation of Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan, you know, they had many like local Brahmins doing the yajnas and different rituals. And he also had the devotees chanting, doing kirtan. And he said, this is the real installation. Like that. So we can see how the holy name is always reigning supreme. The next item is offering prayers. And obviously we know the meaning of the Maha Mantra. My dear Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. So this is the topmost prayer, because in the 6th canto it said, Aradhyatma pradam devam savatmanam jagadishwanam kon vinita gunaspasam bulasya narake priyat. The ultimate goal of all ambitions is to become a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If an intelligent man serves the most dear Lord, who gives himself to his devotees, how can he desire material happiness which is available even in hell? So this is the ultimate goal of all ambitions, to just be a servant of Krishna. And we see Lord Chaitanya is following the same line, you know, Gopa Bhatu, Padakamaliyo, Dasa Dasa Anadasa. I'm a servant of Krishna. We see Advaita Acharya just jump up and down. I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya, I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya. The queens of Dwarka, when they're talking to, is it Draupadi or Rohini? Someone. When they talk about how they married Kṛṣṇa, they say, yes, he saved me this way and that way, and now I'm just a maidservant in the palace. And then the gopis of Vrindavan, they never claim, yeah, we're Krishna's girlfriends. No, they just claim to be simple maidservants, calling out. It's just, this is the highest position, this is what we're aiming for. So to ask Kṛṣṇa to just engage me in your service, this is the topmost prayer. And the next item is being a servant, dāsyaṁ. And Harinama is a great way to understand you're a servant, compared to like kirtan in the temple. In the kirtan in the temple, you could be the focus, you know. We have this culture now, it's like, okay, when there's like a famous kirtaniya coming, so they sit here, everyone's facing the kirtaniya, kind of thing, and I don't know if, I don't want to criticize, it's just how it is. It's still good, you're chanting Hare Krishna. Keep it good, keep it up. But when you're on Harinama, no one cares about you. It doesn't matter how famous you are in ISKCON. And like sometimes, like we do these. I have a camper van. So when I'm in Australia, I go to these remote towns, and devotees haven't really been out on Harinama in the public in the last like 30 years or 20. Yeah, around 30 years. And then we come to these like, you know, country bumpkin towns. And then, you know, we come into the car, you know, in Saffron, they go, oh, the Haris are here. I haven't seen you guys in 40 years. Where you been? You know, and I can't say I wasn't, you know, I was there, you know. Yeah, we reincarnated and came back, you know. So they don't remember the person who's chanting, they just remember Hare Krishna, you know, just remember Krishna. So, you know, you can always be a nobody, you could say. So they always remember Krishna. The next item is sakhyam, making friends with Kṛṣṇa. So through everything we go through in life, all the troubles, struggles, ups and downs, the holy name is always there. You know, darshan, it's limited. It's not there all the time, so you can't access. Even reading, how much can you read? And how long can you stay in the class? Thanks. Even to be in association with devotees, it can't always happen. We've experienced that in 2020 for some reason. And but Kṛṣṇa, the holy name, is always there for us. Śrīdam sarvabhutanam. Kṛṣṇa is the best friend of all living entities. And one time I asked my spiritual master, like, in material life, like, your friends, they come and go. You know, you change schools, or you move to a different town, your friends come and go. Or you have a fight, friends come and go. And so I was thinking, in Krishna consciousness, you have long lifetime friends. You know, I remember I had like a brahmachari friend, and like could reveal everything, was so close. Well, like that. Then he got married. It's good. You should, if you need to, it's okay. We're still friends. But I just felt like, oh, I was so close. And so I asked him, I go, even in Krishna consciousness, you know, the friends come and go. And then Maharaj told me, he's like, yeah, Krishna's the only friend. He's the only friend. So, yeah, I can feel that, especially when I'm chanting, you know, especially traveling. Sometimes you're traveling alone and you're surrounded by maya, and then you start chanting and you feel like, okay, my friend's here. And this is the last item, dedicating everything unto him, unto Kṛṣṇa. So the holy name is Kṛṣṇa. Nama chintamani Kṛṣṇas chaitanya rasa vigriha punasado nijo mukto vinatam nami nami. That holy name is just like Chintamani. All your desires will be fulfilled. And you probably remember your desires in your material life. I don't know if you have, but I remember when I was like 10 years old, I always wanted to go to Mauritius. It's from Mauritius. I saw this like travel show on TV. I was like, yeah, I gotta go. And I was just thinking about it all the time. Then I came a devotee, I didn't care anymore. Now I started traveling the last like 13 years, and I go every year. And I tell you what, Mauritius, if you want to like have a good time distributing books, go to Mauritius. You can You can have like 200 books and they'll disappear in 2 hours. People just come like, hey, they like want to give you money, you're already trying to take from someone else like this. So yeah, it's like a Sankirtan holiday, but you're still doing books. You know? And Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, so it's the form of that, the mellows of transcendental love. Akila Rasa Mritamurti. Puna, it's complete. Sudo, it's pure. Nitya, it's eternal. Mukta, it's on the liberator platform. When you chant Goloka Premadan, Harinama, Sankirtan, Binatvam Nami Namino, it's not different from the named. And Prabhupada, he gave everything. He's the greatest example for dedicating everything to the holy name. Krishnadas Babaji, the god brother of Prabhupada, said that he was successful because he 100% had 100% faith in the holy name. So we can check with the things we do in life, you know, say if there's a new job opportunity, or you need to move to a different city, or you know, you need to make friends with someone. You can think, is this good? Is this helpful to my japa, my kirtan, or my harinam? You can think that way. So we can divert everything into trying to aid our chanting in all forms. Because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that the emperor of all sadhana is Harinam Sankirtan. There's no loss, but the gain is tremendous. Param Vijayate, Shri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtan Ki! So, if there's any comments or questions, all my seniors, yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for your wonderful and very inspirational class. Oftentimes on Harinam, we see, I guess you'd call them innocent people that have never experienced kirtan before. And like last night, for example, you know, a group of people who've never seen devotees before just suddenly enthusiastically chant the holy names. Is that categorized as offenseless chanting? Because they've never experienced Harinam before, just chanting Hare Krishna before. So they don't come with any preconceptions, if you see what I mean. So is that considered offenseless chanting? And by their chanting are their sins therefore eradicated in that moment?
Yeah.
But then what happens afterwards? Because let's say, I mean, you know, a group of people are outside a pub and they're drinking, and then they see the devotees and they're, you know, they chant, they're very enthusiastic, and then they go back to their materialistic ways after. So in that period between chanting and then afterwards, their offenses are eradicated, but then they commit them again. So how does that work exactly?
I don't know, they don't make an offense. They just get bad karma.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a difference. Karma is temporary, it comes and goes. Chant one name of Krishna can deliver so much, right? But it's definitely a Ganta Sukriti, so they built that up. And then I guess they need to meet devotees more and more. They need more exposure to it. And then eventually they'll take it up. And I guess also Krishna's in their heart. So, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Shakata Kṛṣṇa Punya Śravana Kirtana. Hinanta Story Bhadrani Vidu Notisa Hisatam. So Krishna in the heart can see whether they're eager or not to hear the messages. If they're eager for more beer, okay, it'll be a bit of a delay. But yeah, my realization from Harinam is that if you go out with 1 or 1,000,000 devotees, you at least make one devotee. Sometimes Krishna shows you, sometimes he doesn't. You know, holy name does what he wants. We cannot sort of thing. But we can also like expose them more to the transcendental sound, because Krishna is all attractive, you know. It's like that. I'll tell you one sort of thing that sort of confirmed it further. So I was in Melbourne and I got the instruction that from my spiritual master, if you want to make Harinam, if you want to conquer lust, make Harinam big. And I was just like, what does that mean? Like big in my consciousness, big in the city. I can't travel at the moment, I got no money. So what does it mean? So I just thought, let me try and push Harinam where I am. And yeah, I guess most devotees aren't so enthusiastic, so it made me a bit like, oh man, what the hell? So then I went in front of Gaura-Nitai and I go, please, can you come for Harinam? I was like praying really intensely. And then I heard like this voice shout at me, what do you mean? You never go on Harinam. I was like, what? What does it mean? I had to think about it. And then as I thought further, I was like, yeah, Gaura-Nitai are right. They're always on Harinam, sometimes we join them. So that's the idea. So the darshan of Gaura-Nitai, that mercy, it's not in the temple, it's on the street. So you kind of just want to be the instrument more. And then just from hearing the scripture, how effective it is, that should, have us faith like, okay, these people eventually come to Kṛṣṇa. But obviously we need to expose them more, So it's not just the Harinam, give them prasadam, give them books, and just as much as possible. Because that's pretty much the difference between us and them. It's like we chant Hare Krishna more. It's okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. I suffer from anxiety a little bit, so I was worried all week about the Harinam yesterday. I wasn't keen. But experiencing it, I'm not one that likes to dance in front of people, and I've broken some of those barriers this week, but to do it in front of members of the public. But to experience it after the first few minutes was so profound to me. So fathers turned their cameras around, and I noticed a daughter from wherever she was, a little girl, watching mothers with their babies, all sorts of people, and so many people just smiling. All around the journey, people just lighting up. And I was thinking also about I thought to myself, the keen ones tend to be drunk. And I was wrestling with that in my head. But this is my sort of just come to me now, is that what you offered them in whatever state of inebriation, or many were sober, was a sort of a pure joy. So whether or not what their state of consciousness was, you came to them and offered this moment of joy that affected mothers, fathers, friends. It was, and I really, really enjoyed it. So just my observation on that.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, thank you so much. That was cool.
I can remember on the Isle of Wight, west where I was born, and I used to play rugby. I was an engineer and all this sort of thing, and I was in the planning office, so many things. And I went on the Harinam with some devotees here. Sakhyam, his name is, and it was an amazing experience. I was really scared to do it, actually, but certainly after a while, it is in the main centre. After a while, you don't care, and I met all the people I didn't want to meet. My family, people at work, my rugby mates, all those, all the people I didn't like, but I didn't care. And then, the result of that, for a while, they put me to Coventry. That means they won't speak to you at work. After a week, they say, why are you doing that? And then the inquisitiveness started. And all of a sudden, it started to develop. I used to go to the canteen. I said, I can't come anymore. There's no vegetarianism. There's nothing. They said, oh, we'll do a recipe. We'll start doing that. So they started to do that. And then the factory, I used to bring cakes in. And then the shop floor, we used to do it just in the office. And they say, can we get any? The shop floor saying, yeah, of course. So all of a sudden, it expanded itself. And then gradually they just took books. And it was an incredible experience for me, anyway, before I came to the Manor here. And that was,
Wow,
yeah,
amazing.
good life experience.
Thank you.
Thank you. The chanting is wonderful. I feel peaceful. But how to discipline yourself? It's the hardest part.
I try to make it sound fun, but yeah, you know. Yeah, I guess Japa is a more difficult one. That's probably the discipline part, right? Doing Japa? Yes?
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? I'm good at this stuff. Yes. Hare Krishna. Your question? Yeah.
I'd just like to share one of my experience.
Sure.
I worked in the health service, and one Friday before Christmas, we had to do a session, and we chose, the topic was anything. So I thought, wow, this was quite amazing. So I used my 20-minute session, and I prepared the chanting of the holy name. I created big posters, and I took small cards and passed it around. There was 20 of us, besides the lecturers. And I did the incense offering and the invocation before. And then I took a mridanga and kartals. And the 20-minute session turned out to be until lunchtime because nobody wanted to do anything more. They all just chanted, played the mridanga, the kartals, but in the end they said there's one thing missing. I said, what is that? They said, where's the thing to eat?
Yeah.
So
Nice.
nobody else continued their delivery, but still they give us all a pass.
Wow, amazing. Fantastic. Took over. Nice. Okay, anyone else? You good? Oh, yeah? Good? Oh, yes.
Hare
Sorry.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for this inspiring class. My question is how to overcome hesitations to go out on the street, because when I'm going out for books and I'm in the mood, it's really fun and ecstatic, but sometimes I'm a bit hesitating, and how to come in this mood. Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, just do it. But I mean, Vaisheshika has this just touch your foot to the pavement thing. So pretty much there is this barrier once you go beyond the threshold of like the temple and you're in the public space, then you're good to go, actually. So that's also I used to have this problem, like, oh, you know, you think of so many excuses not to step out, and you don't want to go out, and then eventually you don't go out. But you just force yourself to just break through that threshold, and then after that, it's good. You know, everything sort of pushes you in the right direction. That's my experience. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's alright. Also reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that fires you up like crazy. Yeah. It's like rocket boosters. Anyone else? Good. Okay.